There's a white powder sitting in your kitchen right now that most people have walked past 1,000 times without ever stopping to think about what it actually does. It costs about $2. You can find it in any grocery store in America, tucked between the baking soda and the vanilla extract. And it is, without exaggeration, the most effective bathroom stain remover that exists on this planet. Not one of the best. Not a solid alternative. The best. More effective than the $12 spray bottles lined up in the cleaning aisle. More effective than the industrial-strength Descaliers with the warning labels. More effective than anything a television commercial has ever tried to sell you on a Sunday afternoon. And the reason you have never heard this presented as a cleaning solution, the reason it has been carefully and deliberately excluded from every mainstream conversation about bathroom maintenance for the last 70 years, is not an accident. It is a business decision. One of the most profitable business decisions in the history of the American household consumer market. Think about the last time you scrubbed your bathroom. You sprayed the product. You scrubbed. You rinsed. And that orange ring under the toilet rim? Still there. Lighter, maybe. Moved around a little, but still there. That gray mineral film at the base of the faucet? Still there. The chalky white buildup around the shower drain? Still there. And you assumed that was just how it worked. You assumed that bathroom stains were a permanent negotiation. Managed, never resolved. You bought another bottle, you tried a different brand, you upgraded to the version with the word industrial on the label, and still the stains came back, sometimes within days, as if the bathroom itself was resisting you. What if the product was never designed to win? What if the entire point was for you to keep trying and keep buying? What if the stain was never the enemy? And the bottle was. The powder is called cream of tartar. Its scientific name is potassium bitartrate. And what it does to mineral deposits, rust stains, and oxidized ceramic surfaces is not cleaning in any conventional sense. It is chemistry. Targeted, precise, and irreversible chemistry that the cleaning industry has spent an enormous amount of time and money making sure you associate with baking and not with bathroom maintenance. Understanding why it works and why you were never meant to know changes the way you see every cleaning product you have ever purchased. Because once you understand the chemistry, the shelf in the cleaning aisle starts to look very different. Not like a solution, like a very expensive way of staying stuck. Let's go back. The year is 1163 AD. Beneath the wine cellars of a Benedictine abbey in southern France, monks are working in the quiet dark after the grape harvest. As the wine ferments and settles inside the great oak barrels, a dense crystalline crust forms along the inner walls. The monks scrape this crust out carefully, grind it to a fine powder, and store it in sealed clay vessels. They call it tartar. They have no knowledge of molecular chemistry. They have no concept of pH, but they know from generations of careful observation that when this powder is dissolved in a small amount of water and applied to copper cooking pots discolored by green oxidation, the green vanishes within minutes. They know that when the paste is worked into the limestone basins near the cloister well, basins caked with decades of mineral deposits that no amount of physical scrubbing can remove, those deposits dissolve, not scrape off, dissolve, as if they were never there. The monks did not need a laboratory to recognize that what they had found was not an ordinary cleaning agent. It was something that attacked the problem at a level that physical effort alone could never reach. That knowledge passed from the abbey to the stonemasons who maintained the limestone facades of French cathedrals. It moved into the households of the wealthy, documented in French housekeeping manuscripts by the 14th century as the correct treatment for metal and ceramic surface restoration. By the Victorian era, it was institutional knowledge. Mrs. Beeton's famous book of household management, published in 1861, references tartaric compounds for the maintenance of metal and ceramic surfaces directly. Victorian England was obsessed with white porcelain. The toilet bowl, the wash basin, the deep soaking tub were status symbols that had to be maintained in pristine condition. Iron-rich hard water left permanent orange-brown rust rings on those surfaces. Cream of tartar solved the problem. Not reduced it, solved it. The professional housekeeper's pantry shelf in 1880 would have held cream of tartar the same way your cleaning cabinet holds a spray bottle today, as a standard tool that simply worked. Now let's talk about why it works, because the science is exactly as elegant as the history. Every stain you have ever failed to remove from a bathroom surface falls into one of three chemical categories. The first is calcium carbonate, the white chalky buildup that forms wherever hard water evaporates and leaves its dissolved mineral content behind, around faucets, on shower walls, along the waterline of a toilet bowl. The second is iron oxide, the orange-brown rust color that appears under toilet rims, around drain openings, and anywhere that old metal fixtures have had contact with water over years or decades. The third is magnesium silicate compounds, the dark gray mineral film that appears along grout lines and in the corners of high humidity surfaces. Three different chemical structures, three different visual signatures, one underlying vulnerability. They are all alkaline mineral deposits, And the commercial cleaning products most people use to fight them are also alkaline. Bleach is alkaline. Sodium hydroxide is alkaline. Applying an alkaline solution to an alkaline mineral stain is like trying to remove a grease stain with more grease. The chemistry is working against you before you even begin. An alkaline cleaner is phenomenal at removing organic material, mold, mildew, soap scum, bacteria, but it does nothing to the mineral deposits underneath. What it does do extremely well is remove the surface level organic layer and leave the mineral stain exposed, looking slightly worse than before. You scrub harder, you attribute the result to effort rather than chemistry, you buy the next bottle. Cream of tartar is acidic. Its pH sits at approximately 3.5. When dissolved in water, it dissociates to release tartrate ions and hydrogen ions. Those hydrogen ions attack the calcium carbonate and iron oxide deposits and convert them chemically into soluble compounds that rinse away with water. You're not scrubbing the stain off the surface. You're dissolving it at the molecular level. The stain does not move. It stops existing. When it encounters an iron oxide deposit, the tartrate ion does something even more precise. It chelates the iron atoms, binding directly to them and forming a soluble iron tartrate complex that lifts cleanly from the surface without any mechanical force required. This is the same fundamental mechanism used in pharmaceutical chelation treatments and industrial metal recovery processes. The same ion, the same chemistry. Available in your grocery store's baking aisle for $2. The tartaric acid is also mild enough that it will not damage porcelain glaze. Hydrochloric acid, which professional restoration contractors use for the most severe mineral buildup, operates at a pH below 1. It dissolves stains in seconds, but it also risks damaging the fixture permanently if left in contact too long. Cream of tartar operates in the precise chemical window that is destructive to mineral deposits while remaining safe for the glazed ceramic surface beneath them. That is not luck. That is what happens when a molecule with nearly 1,000 years of practical refinement meets a problem it was essentially designed by history to solve. Here's where the story gets uncomfortable. By 1952, the American household cleaning industry had undergone a transformation that would determine everything you have ever been taught about bathroom maintenance. The post-war chemical boom had given a small number of very large corporations, Procter & Gamble, Colgate, SC Johnson, and a handful of others, the industrial manufacturing infrastructure to produce synthetic cleaning compounds at a scale that had never previously been possible. And they had a problem. Cream of tartar cannot be patented. It is a naturally occurring byproduct of wine fermentation. It has been known and used across cultures for nearly a millennium. You cannot patent a law of chemistry. You cannot own the tartrate ion. You cannot build a $50 billion corporation on a product that every grocery store in America sells for $2 and that every consumer can use directly without a brand name, a trigger spray bottle, or a television commercial. So the industry did what industries always do when confronted with a competing solution. They cannot control. They did not ban it. They did not discredit it. They simply built an entire architecture of alternative products, alternative vocabulary, and alternative assumptions around the problem. And they marketed that architecture so aggressively for so many consecutive decades that the original solution quietly disappeared from the conversation. The 1958 Federal Hazardous Substances Act gave cleaning manufacturers the ability to list ingredients under broad categorical descriptions rather than specific chemical names. What had been cream of tartar in a Victorian housekeeping manual became acidic descaling compound in a 1960s product brochure. The same molecule relabeled, diluted into water and surfactant, loaded into a trigger spray bottle with a design language engineered to signal professional-grade chemistry, and sold at 20 times the cost of the raw ingredient. By 1975, the American household cleaning category was generating over $8 billion annually. By 2000, the global market had exceeded $30 billion. Today, it sits above $50 billion. Every dollar of that revenue rests on a single foundational assumption. The bathroom stains require specialized, proprietary chemistry that only a brand can provide. A $2 bag of cream of tartar in the baking aisle represents an existential threat to that assumption. Not because it is a secret. It has never been a secret. Pull the ingredient label off any major European limescale remover. European ingredient transparency regulations are stricter than those in the United States, and you will find tartaric acid or potassium bitartrate listed directly as one of the primary active compounds. The manufacturers know. Their formulation chemists know. The people who design the products know exactly what is working and why. The only people who do not know are the people standing in the cleaning aisle reaching past the $2 baking ingredient toward the $12 spray bottle that contains a diluted, branded, heavily marketed version of the same fundamental chemistry. The knowledge never disappeared. It retreated into the communities the cleaning industry could not reach with its marketing budget. In professional hotel housekeeping, where bathroom surfaces must be returned to pristine condition daily, and where volume purchasing of commercial cleaners creates its own institutional logic, Experienced head housekeepers have quietly maintained stocks of tartaric acid powder for decades, not because any brand told them to, because institutional knowledge has a way of preserving what marketing budgets try to bury. Vintage porcelain restoration communities have known for years that cream of tartar paste is the correct treatment for cast iron clawfoot bathtubs from the early 20th century, pieces carrying decades of iron staining and mineral buildup that no commercial product has ever successfully addressed. Professional restoration shops charge hundreds of dollars to treat surfaces that cream of tartar handles in a single afternoon for under $5 in materials. In 2019, a materials science researcher at the University of Leeds published findings documenting the efficacy of tartaric acid solutions on calcium carbonate mineral deposits in domestic plumbing fixtures. The study tested 14 commercially available descaling products against a tartaric acid control solution. The tartaric acid solution matched or exceeded the performance of 11 of the 14 commercial products. The 3 that outperformed it contained hydrochloric acid at concentrations classified as hazardous for unprotected consumer use. The study was published, cited 47 times in subsequent academic literature, and referenced by 0 cleaning brands in any consumer-facing material. Here is exactly what to do with this. Go to any grocery store and find the baking aisle. Purchase food-grade cream of tartar. A standard container costs between $1.50 and $3 and contains enough material to treat every bathroom surface in your home multiple times over. For hard water, mineral deposits around faucets, on shower walls, along toilet bowl water lines, and around drain openings. Mix 2 tablespoons of cream of tartar with just enough warm water to form a thick paste, approximately the consistency of toothpaste. Apply the paste directly to the stained area using an old toothbrush, a cloth, or your fingers. Work it into the surface gently to ensure full contact with the stain. Do not scrub at this stage. You are not removing the stain through physical force. You are initiating a chemical reaction. Leave the paste in contact with the surface for 15 to 30 minutes. For severe or long-standing buildup, leave it for up to an hour. During that contact time, the tartaric acid is converting calcium carbonate and iron oxide into soluble salts that rinse cleanly away. After the contact time, scrub lightly and rinse with warm water. For severe staining, a second application will complete what the first began. The porcelain beneath will be clean, unscratched, and chemically unaffected. The glaze will be fully intact. For iron rust stains specifically, enhance the mixture by combining cream of tartar with hydrogen peroxide instead of water. Apply the same way, leave for 30 minutes, and rinse. Rust stains that have resisted years of commercial treatment will be gone after a single application. For grout lines, combine cream of tartar with white vinegar to create a more aggressive dissolution environment for porous surfaces. For copper fixtures, apply the paste directly, wait 10 minutes, and buff off with a soft cloth. Total material cost under $3. No protective equipment required. No ventilation needed. Safe for all sealed surfaces and septic systems. Every civilization that ever built a bathroom, laid a ceramic tile, or installed a copper fixture eventually arrived at the same chemical truth. Mineral deposits are alkaline. The only thing that reliably dissolves an alkaline deposit is a mild targeted acid, not neutral chemistry, not alkaline chemistry, acid, precisely buffered, naturally sourced, biologically safe organic acid. The Romans used wine vinegar on their marble bath complexes. Medieval monks used the crystalline crust from their fermentation barrels. Victorian housekeepers used a fine powder from a ceramic jar on the pantry shelf. Military maintenance crews used it in the field to restore equipment when nothing else was available. And every single one of them got the same result that the $2 bag in your grocery store baking aisle will give you today. $50 billion in annual cleaning industry revenue depends on you never connecting those two things. $50 billion depends on you standing in front of a shelf of branded spray bottles, choosing the one with the most aggressive marketing language, taking it home, watching it partially reduce the stain without eliminating it, and going back for another bottle next month. The knowledge was never lost. It was priced out of your awareness. It was systematically excluded from the mainstream conversation about bathroom maintenance for 7 consecutive decades. The tartrate ion does not care about brand strategy. Calcium carbonate does not read ingredient labels. And the monks scraping crystalline crust from a wine barrel in 1163 were solving exactly the same problem you faced the last time you stared at that orange ring under your toilet rim, reached for a spray bottle, and felt the low-grade frustration of a problem that refused to go away. Chemistry does not expire. The knowledge was always there. $2. The same result that an entire industry spent billions of dollars hiding from you. If this changed the way you see your bathroom or the cleaning products lined up underneath your sink, then subscribe to Secret Fix Vault and share this now. Every share is another person who never has to buy that spray bottle again. Every subscription keeps this channel going, keeps the vault open, and keeps reaching into the places the industry does not want anyone to look.